We return to the first round of playoffs here. Krakens, they're looking to secure a 4-0 win here. But Frost Nova, they have a chance here to reverse sweep. Could be a big change of momentum here. We'll have to see what kind of changes they made since they've had this 5-minute break. And we'll see here. Karma, how are you feeling now?
I think I'm feeling a lot worse because I think we told these two teams it's going to be a nice sort of difficult match for both these teams to come out, and that's what it really was on the first map on Nepal. Krakens ended up winning it 100-70 about both times, and then since then it's just been all Krakens all day. First holding on Hollywood, and then getting basically 300-0 on Flashpoint on Saravasa. And there's two players I think that we both want to sort of point out for both these teams. Number one has to be Kilroy, popping off on both the Symmetra as well as the Sojourn, just basically being that consistent rock for the side of Krakens, just being it, as well as Kingpin, who's their main tank, just hitting these massive shatters time in, time out. We talked about it a little bit on Saravasa. We talked about this one just being a little bit too not needed, but definitely helped. Yeah. And then also just being that rock, staying alive when he needed it most, and especially too with Kilroy popping off here, getting that team point. And it's just been these two. It's just been these two that have really just been the turning point for this team. Both Kilroy and Kingpin, just being massive for the side of Krakens.
I think it's very easy to see the impact of a tank player when they are on Ryan. But I want to talk a little bit about the Sigma that we did see on Hollywood, where we saw that Krakens were really good at, when we saw Kingpin, they secured the high ground for their team, and that set them up for success, where they were able to, they firmly maintained space on defense, and they did a really good job of controlling the area, and then that allowed their DPS to thrive and pop off.
Yeah, it really did. And also, like you said, it's easy to see when a DPS is popping off. One person I want to give a shout out to as well is Momo, the main support Lucio player for the side of Krakens, just popping off really when they need them. They got a lot of these key first bloods on the side, on Nepal, on Flash, on Saravasa.
Yeah,
they got some key picks here and there. They popped off when they needed to, and was able to keep their team alive a lot of the time. You're not talking about these teams, you're like, hey, you're dying too fast. It's really when they get split off, they do die. But Krakens have just been able to keep up their team, their core of their team, and it's really based on the backline of both Mimi and Momo. But it's going to be insane heading into this next map, which is Push, and it is Colosseo. Sort of, I want to say it's fairly a brawl-heavy map, and that's sort of what we've seen throughout all four of these maps so far.
I feel like when we always see Colosseo, I get this feeling. As I honestly think this map it's always like a big momentum turner where you could see teams where you honestly don't know who's going to win the map until the last 3 minutes. It could go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But then it comes down to who has the lead in the end. You can get an early lead, but if you can't secure it, if you can't complete the map, that gives the other team the opportunity to push past you, and now you're on the back foot.
Yeah, and it still is, in my opinion, Colosseo is still one of the prettiest maps in all of Overwatch 2. I think when it came out, I think a lot of people had it ranked like number 1, number 2 prettiest. I think it's still up there as we see Kraken sticking with the Sigma comp, going to the Soldier instead of the Mei, which could be a little bit interesting. As we see Frost Nova switching it up just a little bit. Edge here is on the Orisa instead of the Sigma or Reinhardt. Hatter is on the Hanzo, which we've seen them play before. But that Orisa pick, that's the first time we've been seeing Orisa today.
Definitely a different style than what we see typically in the meta. I don't think I've seen Orisa played in like a lot since like season 2 or 3. I think she did have her moment a couple seasons ago, but she hasn't been a very strong part of the meta in a while. But oh look, she's getting very low, but look at Waggler on this flank. This could be really, really deadly if they cannot deal with it.
And especially too, being able to hold this high ground, just taking those pop shots and making sure they can get it. Hatter does fall a bit, but Hatter's on the prowl for Waggler here, trying to find him and push him out.
Ooh, Hatter does miss those shots. So Waggler gets lucky there, and Kilroy gets that first kill onto Mimi. That's what they need to start pushing in here. And shit is very low as well. That's going to force them back in. Krakens, they're going to start getting an early lead as they secure the kill on the Shid.
Yeah, that's great for the side of Krakens as we see Slack come in now instead of Kingpin. A little bit interesting.
Oh, we saw Slat on Hollywood, so I was talking to the wrong person.
Yeah, so, but I mean, hey, it's one of those things too where it's nice to have those two tanks that you can sort of intertwine in between which ones you want to have, especially since I'm guessing Slat is much more of the Sigma player, the off-tank sort of role that you had before in Overwatch 2, whereas Kingpin is that Ryan one trick, which we've seen him play a lot, more, but it's always really nice. As Frost Nova, I just switching off of the Orisa and now onto the ball.
Does not look like Frost Nova really coordinated that dive well enough, as Hatter was not able to capitalize on that pile driver from Shid now. As Krakens, they are kind of split up right now. They're in, oh, and yeah, when you're split up, that's what happens. Shid gets rid of Dung Waggler, and yep, they're gonna fall one by one now, but oh, Kilroy responds by getting rid of Hatter now, but they're gonna clean up. So, but in that process, they've kind of abandoned the point, creating a neutral situation here where Krakens could win the bot technically, but no, it looks like they are able to get back, and Krakens, they are gonna lose this here.
Yeah, this is the one thing too. Frost Nova switching fully basically onto the ball and onto the ball dive. So it's basically one of the things that you want to do is you want to try to split up your team, especially with Hatter being on the tracers. Yeah, as you say, what a stagger for them, especially with it being your main tank. That's not something that you really want to do if you're Krakens. But hey, you do have 4 ultimates coming online. You have the 5th is about 75% away. Whereas Frost Nova, they really only have that one ultimate, with it being the mines. The other 2 are about 90, 3 others are about 90%. So it's interesting what it's going to be, especially since one team has all these ultimates and can pop it early.
Oh, minefield out now. Is not able to get the pile driver combo, and it just gets rid of the pylon, and the rest are kited now. As Krakens, they have a lot of options here and can afford to play this slower with their lead now, as Kilroy gets rid of Momo to start the fight. That's very, very crucial now, and I think Shit's kind of alone with Hatter now, and they're trying to get something done, but not if Kilroy has anything to say about it. And now they have the bot control back in their hands, as they're going to try and push forward and secure this forward spawn.
Yeah, it really is, and that's the reason why we targeted them to start off with. Kilroy just being that menace with the Sojourn, just making sure like, hey, we get these picks off as they do find edge early. And that's the one thing that you got to worry about with a ball player. Is a lot of times you can get poked out fairly early, and especially if you have people that are able to chase you down like the Soldiers. It's going to be rough as Arson ends up falling immediately.
Kilroy is absolutely taking over now. We've seen like 3-4 picks now, just turning momentum so much in Kraken's favor, as they have secured forward spawn now. And oh shit, not again. That's not what you want to see as a ball player. It's really hard playing ball right now, and it's very easy to get punished like that. And if you're going to keep running this ball comp, you got to play it careful, or something has to change.
Yeah, you can't go. Sort of what they were trying to do is they're trying to just go at them straight head on where they know where it is, as the continuing rush comes out for the side of Mimi, but the visor comes out, beat comes out, doesn't get picked off, so it's all people are still staying alive for the side of Frost Nova, and it looks like it's going to start to be red in the kill feed.
Flux out, adaptive shield spot to kind of save Shid, but no, they are down now, and Arson does have that overclock and has stolen the bot successfully. And Frost Nova, they might have actually won that trade out, and yeah, they're gonna secure the bot now.
Yeah, and that's great for the side of Frost Nova being able to get it, so that way Tommy Slet is just now falling, and they're gonna get their far spawns. So they get those far spawns, they basically get it back to the point where you were pushing it before. So now, you still have a lot of time to go, but again, Frost Nova having that momentum now, having those mines again, as well as that pulse bomb, if they're able to stick somebody, it could be massive, but they do have Aristotle switching over to the Kiriko to try to deal with it as much as they can.
Frost Nova had their 2 big engagements, but look at Shid's health. It's so low. Just going into this fight, it is now healed up, but you know, you got to look at this minefield and this pulse bomb to start the fight, and they pop both of them at the same time, getting rid of the pylon again, but nothing more, as Kilroy has now popped this overclock, one of the crucial ults that you have to watch out for. As, oh, there you go, Momo has been picked, and Waggler gets rid of Arson. 2 members down for Frost Nova, very crucial members who really are making up this core of this team besides this 2-person Ball Tracer dive.
Yeah, it really is. And also, too, talking about both these teams, Frost Nova just sort of, they do have that momentum and then they end up falling as Waggler does find Hatter. Just sort of a great pick for the side of Krakens, just being able to get that Tracer so you don't really have to deal with anything coming back. As Arson decides, you know what, I'm done with the Sojourn pick. I'm just going to try to go to the Sojourn and try to mirror that from Waggler.
Ooh, the pile driver lands on the Sigma and doesn't do much as Momo gets rid of Kilroy though, so that's an advantage right now for Frost Nova. Aristotle gets picked in another crucial engage from Frost Nova. Great dive from them. Momo gets 2, eliminating the entire back line of Krakens. And that's a very solid fight from them, using their dive compositions to its advantages and really coordinating well.
And another reason, too, that's why we targeted Momo coming back from the break. Momo's just been popping off for this Frost Nova team. Even though they haven't won that fight, even though they haven't won a map so far, it's not been Momo's fault. Momo's been doing everything they can to try to keep this team alive.
Pile driver tried to get something, but did not get enough. As Krakens have their crucial DPS ults again. And this is what's happening basically consistently, but Frost Nova, they're making small advances. Ashes gets rid of Momo, though, the crucial member that we've been talking about for Frost Nova. Hatter does have this pulse bomb, though. You have to watch out for it, but look at where the bot is. They are actually pushing it back to the middle, and that's going to force Frost Nova to rotate here.
Yeah, it really is, and this is something, too. But as Ashes fall down first, so that's the first pick. Kitsune Rush comes out, try to get that space, but Waggler falls first, especially having that visor. That's a rough pick for him. And now it's starting to be Frost Nova taking that momentum back after Krakens have to use multiple ultimates.
Yeah, they got a really good pincer there from Shid in the back line combined with the front line, and really the Soldier and Momo really just securing that other side. And once that minefield came in, it was all red.
It's all red. They are moving the bot. They're about to, I'm guessing they're going to get this checkpoint pretty close, just over 2 minutes too. But the Captive Sun does come out, does find Momo, so they still have to be worried about that.
Fortunately, none of the shots land, so it doesn't look like any of those Captive Sun marks are going to have any value. But look, it's all red again. What great dives coming out from Frost Nova now. How they have turned the tables on Krakens now, just creating complete chaos on the battlefield now as Momo's gotten rid of Aristotle. Tommy has his flex, gonna try and catch it. Catches Momo without beat, and that's a big ult right there. Gets rid of 2 members of Frost Nova, and that might actually save Krakens from having to deal with Frost Nova getting forward spawn.
Yeah, it really will. And also, too, Krakens being able to turn that fight with it basically looking like it could have been over. But like you said, just Frost Nova, they're trying to create chaos, and they're doing fairly good at it. It's just unfortunate that they weren't able to get that forward spawn there and be able to get that checkpoint. Because if they're able to get it, then this could be a very turning point, especially with there just being just over a minute left, and Krakens having the bot as well as that forward advantage.
Oh, unfortunately, the pulse bomb misses, but they still have a couple ults to work with. Really only having the beat for the side of Frost Nova, but Waggler gets rid of Mimi, one of the 2 supports for Frost Nova who have been big in this series and keeping them alive, but Hatter's stealing the bot in the process. Fight happening right now. Kilroy with that overclock, very deadly. So watch out as they're rotating back to the bot, trying to prevent Frost Nova from running away with it, and they do. And that's exactly what you don't want for Frost Nova. They were able to steal this bot a couple times, and that's how they won their fights. They were able to split Krakens up, but as soon as Krakens were able to respond and stop that from happening, now that they have 30 seconds left, this is a do or die for Frost Nova.
Yeah, it really is, and especially too with it just being just under 20 seconds left. Like you said, it is do or die. Kitsune Rush Visor comes out for the side of Krakens to try to turn this fight. Isn't able to find anything. Actually, never mind. They do find Momo, so they do fall. Waggler finds Hatter as well, so that's a 2-man down. You have under 10 seconds left, so it's just Frost Nova. They have to get to the point. They have to stop it as fast as they can.
Oh, they're pushing all the way in, sending them to spawn, and oh, they were not able to touch, and Frost Nova have been eliminated from Transcendence Tier playoffs here. in Season 11 of Tranquility.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, but of course, Kilroy getting play of the game. Just absolute domination, in my opinion. This overclock, be able to pop it, get Momo first. And it's just one of those things where you see it pop off at basically every single moment they can, finding nice picks here and there, just making sure, hey, this is the reason why you pick Sojourn over that Bastion, like we said in the first map. It's the reason why a lot of these teams are deciding to pick Sojourn, put your best player on the best character in the game. It's going to spell success no matter which way you put it.
Yeah, Frost Nova have been eliminated, but Krakens, they are advancing in Tranquility, and that's huge for them. They are probably very, very excited by that. A very strong start for them getting that 4-0 win. And as you said, Krakens, they just had the individual skill. They have just powerhouses on these heroes that put out so much value during the series.
Yeah, and not to mention, too, we didn't even see it on Colosseo, but Kingpin just being able to pop off. Tommy Slat even was able to step in. Their name wasn't really called all that much, but it definitely popped off when they mattered. Like, look at that Flux getting that rock off, just being able to stay alive.
Tommy was very good.
Yeah, when he can, but it just, Krakens all together, they just seem like they just meshed completely. Like, we didn't even really talk about their backline of Aristotle and Mello here, but it's just one of those things, too, where it's like, no matter which way you cut it,
Mello with a boop. Yeah,
it's just no matter somebody on Krakens was popping off. It was just something small or something massive like the Shatter.
There was just so many great individual plays, but I do want to say something quick about Frost Nova. Honestly, on Colosseo, I was very pleasantly surprised by their adaptation of the ball comp, and it seemed like mid-game they were able to start making it work. If something just clicked in them, and they almost matched Kraken's distance. Unfortunately, there was one fight where they just didn't win, and unfortunately that put them behind, and Krakens, they were able to, you know, with their strong core and team, just take the map and gain some progress.
Yeah, it really is. And also, like you said before, in Colosseo, the one thing that Frost Nova was able to sort of exploit with that ball comp was just the amount of chaos that was going on out there. Frost Nova just being able to, Edge just being able to boot people around on the ball, Hatter being able to clean them up. But at the end of the day, there is one person that I think stood out in both of our minds, do you think?
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. And I think, do you want to do the honors or do you want me to? I've been talking.
I think you would, because I don't want to get it wrong. It's actually because I forgot their name.
Yeah, it's fine. It is Kilroy, of course.
Yeah.
The Sojourn Sim 2-trick, it seemed like today, but they were just popping on at every moment, no matter what. No matter what, we were talking about them. They were in the kill feed, making picks matter when it mattered most. This turning point on the first point of Saravasa, just using that overclock and able to find those picks was insane. Of course, just cleaning up kills here and there, finding those early picks off, and just being that all-around sort of consistency mode for the side of Krakens, just being clean and finding those picks when they really needed it.
Yeah, Kilroy was just so solid on the Sojourn, just getting consistently the picks that they needed. And did they play on Hollywood?
I think they did.
Yes, they did. But so yeah, the Ash too. So definitely we did see a very good hit scan player with those overclocks, as you said. I think every fight getting 1, 2, 3, especially Servasa and Colosseo, where we saw 1, 2, 3 picks that just won the fight. And Krakens, they're so good at following up on these initial picks and just these opportunities that are created by their playmaking.
Yeah, and of course, heading into these games, we didn't really know what was going to happen. We're the 4-5 seed. It could have gone any way, and at the end of the day, it is a 4-0 sweep. But looking into this bracket and looking forward into the rest of the champs bracket, we do have some other scores to sort of announce to you guys. If I can pull it up here, we have MI7 beating Empire 4-0. 4-0. So that match is completed, as well as Amnesia beating Classified 4-0 as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of the La Esperada versus Dapper Dynasty match. So far, every single match in Transcendence has been a 4-0 sweep. So it's going to be interesting to see who comes forward next week, if it's going to be another 4-0 sweep fest, or if it's going to be these sort of tight matches that we should be expecting from each of these teams.
Yeah, it does surprise me that we've seen 3 4-0s, but early on, I think that's expected. If we keep seeing it, I will definitely be questioning it, because I feel like as you get closer, usually these matches usually get closer, and you'll see a 4-1, maybe a 4-2, but you can definitely see those 4-0 sweeps. It really just depends on, as I said, how people show up. Like, these teams, they've earned their spots. They played very well in the regular season, and they're definitely very formidable teams. But, you know, you did really well in that regular season here, but this is all the teams that did good in the regular season now that you're facing against, and that's a whole nother bar that you have to step up to the plate for.
Yeah, and not to mention too, as we look at this bracket, you're having these teams, and it's going to be tough for Kraken facing MI7 next week. That's gonna be one of those wins that you gotta watch, especially if we're able to do it. But again, with how dominant both these teams look so far, it's going to be interesting to see who comes out on top next week, heading into the semifinals and heading into the grand finals as well, because it's going to be a clash of two titans. With how Kraken was able to play today, if they're able to keep this momentum going into next week, it could be an upset. I'm not saying it will be, but at the end of the day, it could be an upset. And MI7 is going to be using this as bulletin board material. I just know it.
Kraken looked really, really strong. But if there's one thing I would like to see from MI7 versus Kraken, it is a Rhine v Rhine. If the roster is the same as I know MI7, they have a Rhine, someone known for their Rhine, I'll just say that. So if we could get that, that would be an amazing matchup to see versus Kingpin.
Yeah, it really would. And like you said, especially the way that Kingpin was playing today, it's one of those things where it could be a matchup of two titans. It could be Bumper v Super and Tranquility and Trance Tier. But at the end of the day, that's all. Again, that's next week. We do have some more matches going on later this week. We have one tomorrow, one Thursday. Which one do you think you're more excited for?
Ooh, that's hard, honestly. I don't want to give favoritism towards the divisions. But honestly, they're both really good matches. I mean, just across the tiers, we have such great talent here. I mean, I did see some of the numbers. Over 600 players are participating this season. 92 teams, 636 regular season games. There's so much action going on. And honestly, I'd catch all of it. Honestly, watch it all. Honestly, if you can, watch as much as you can, because it's so exciting that we're nearing the end of this season. This is when you get these really tight games that they're so fun to watch. And honestly, I wouldn't miss any of it.
Yeah, and especially too with the Overwatch League sort of up in the air and what's going on. We know that Tranquility is coming. We know that Tranquility is coming back next season, so we know that that's going to be the same. Season 12, it will be back, but again, at the end of the day, it's his championship bracket. It's win, go home. Unfortunately, at the end of the day, Frost Nova, you're headed home. Kraken, you're moving on to now face probably one of the toughest teams in the Transcendence Tier, a team that's been around for who knows how long. At least since I've been casting, I think I've seen them every single place I've gone to.
Definitely some exciting things. And, you know, even though Overwatch League is done and we don't know what's going to happen next, Tranquility is here for you. So honestly, stick around to next week here. We're going to see an amazing match here with Krakens versus MI7 and so many more matches happening on Wednesday, Thursday, and into next week. So honestly, go ahead and follow the Twitch channels, follow our Twitter, TranquilityGG, and thank you all for watching. And that's all from us here. Karma, do you have anything else to say?
No, shout out to Hippy, shout out to T, shout out to everybody backstage. I almost forgot it too, but Orange as well. I love all you guys. All you guys are amazing. I think everybody here at
Knock was there too,
amazing.
right? Yeah.
Knock was there. I'm knocking Unfeatured right here. I almost forgot about Unfeatured, which I feel bad about. But hey, I mean, everybody back here, everybody behind the scenes, even though you don't know them, you might know them if you're in the Tranquility Discord. All amazing. They're the ones that put it together. We're just the talking heads that get to sit in front of a camera.
I'm the talking head, but I'm also the person you never see. It just depends on the day, honestly. It's so much fun doing this production. So if you are interested, I know we are looking for people. So I think there is a form in the Tranquility server. If you are interested in doing broadcasting or casting, you honestly don't need to have, if you just want to get into it, go ahead and fill out the form. It doesn't matter if you've never done this before. I know there's plenty of people who this is really their first time casting or producing, and it's such a great experience. And we do a lot of great work here. I mean, this whole overlay, it's just amazing the work that they do here. All volunteer too. We don't get paid to do this too, but it's so much fun and I really enjoy it. So again, stick around next week and we'll see you later. Bye everybody.
Thank you.